just wanna party, party just for you. We just wanna party, party just for you. I don't wanna die, party just for me. You ain't gotta dance, dance and shake the breeze. We just wanna party, party just for you. We just wanna party, party just for you. I don't wanna die, party just for me. You ain't gotta dance, dance and shake the breeze.
This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now.
This is everything. The glitch mom. Michael. The word of love. It's Bobby, by the way. Let's get it.
Welcome to the world, no heroes and villains. Welcome to the war, we've only begun. So pick up your weapon and face it. There's blood on the ground, go and take it. You get one shot to make it out alive. So higher and higher you're chasing. It's deep in your bones, go and take it. This is your moment, now is your time. So prove yourself, hey.
Rise, rise.
Make 'em remember.
Busy chasing round with you in the downtown. There's blood on the crown. Yeah, rise.
They will remember.
Busy chasing round with you in the downtown. There's blood on the crown.
Welcome to the climb up, reach for the summit. Visions brave the one, false step lead the end. So higher and higher you're chasing. It's deep in your blood, go and take it. This is your moment. Take to the skies, go. Prove yourself, hey.
Rise, rise.
Make 'em remember.
Busy chasing round with you in the downtown. There's blood on the crown. Yeah, rise.
They will remember.
Busy chasing round with you in the downtown. Yeah, homie, we gon' rise and we will never be sober. Yeah, 지게 우리 간지에 we can never be humble. We gon' shine. Movie scene when we enter. 평생들이 저런 고백 형님의 heavy metal. Smell like a tin spirit 좀 golden lord 번호. Pick up your weapon and face it 아무도 널 막지 않아. 뭘 그리 말 많아 간중은 널 믿지 않아. 보기 전까지 무시 that's why we gotta rise. Homie god dang it 난 너만 틈지 못대로 걷고. Yo 바꿔내 네 키보드 잘 봐라 모니터로. 내 방패는 카시오 전투하는 날개. 중력 씹어먹고 저 달나라까지 rise. Prove yourself and
Make 'em remember.
remember what we're about to do. Remember what we're about to do. Higher.
They will remember.
Remember what we're about to do. Remember what we're about to do.
Pick up your weapon and face it.
Busy chasing round with you in the downtown. There's blood on the crown.
Yeah. Yeah, as a boy, always knew I one day had the courage to be king. Yeah, time flew when I grew up. Now I'm ready.
Hey yo, here comes the danger up in this club. When we get started, man, we ain't gon' stop. We gon' turn it out till it gets too hot. Everybody sing, hey yo. Tell them turn it out till they can't no more. Let's get this thing shaking like a disco ball. This is your last one and a courtesy call. Hey yo, here comes the danger up in this club. When we get started, man, we ain't gon' stop. We gon' turn it out till it gets too hot. Everybody sing, hey yo. Tell them turn it out till they can't no more. Let's get this thing shaking like a disco
Get it? Text a message, I don't know the number. Flexing on these niggas, every bone and muscle. Steady taking shots, never hurting them. Even then, y'all don't worry nothing. And I like to give a shout out to my niggas with the game plan. And shout outs on my niggas with escape plans. 20 bands, rain dance. We can either rain check or we can make plans. Pockets loaded, rocket loaded, can't let's rock and roll this. Time to go, lock, stock, and 2 smoking barrels locked and loaded. Diamonds glowing, chop climbing on them. You think I'm jumping out the window, how I got them open. Line around the corner, line them up the block and over. Sometimes I even stop the smoking when it's time to focus. My shade, Dior, my pants, velour. Create, explore, expand, concord.
I came, I saw, I came, I saw. I praise the Lord, then break the law. I take what's mine, then take some more. It rains, it pours, it rains, it pours. I came, I saw, I came, I saw. I praise the Lord, then break the law. I take what's mine, then take some more. It rains, it pours, it rains, it pours. Yeah, I sold the pack, the loose, the hard. Yeah. I listen to X, I beat the bars. Yeah. The snakes, the rats, the cats, the dogs, the games, a trap. Protect your heart. Yeah. I waited in line, return, refine the new design. It's time to shine, to shine, to shine, to shine, to shine. I hustle, I flex, the world is mine. So please believe, allow degrees. These niggas, disease, don't speak, we squeeze. I make the devil go weak, the knees. You hate, you're lame, you lost. I came, I saw, I came, I saw. I praise the Lord, then break the law. I take what's mine, then take some more. It rains, it pours, it rains, it pours. I came, I saw, I came, I saw. I praise the Lord, then break the law. I take what's mine, then take some more. It rains, it pours, it rains, it pours.
She came, I came, now what's my name? My chain, my pants with the chain. They know it's me, the hat and the shades. They heard my voice and they ran to the stage. My vans, my braids, my mans, my babe, my girls, my ex, my hoes that I left. You wait, I step out the car, that's a flex. Get thanks, get fresh, raise the love, then finesse. Bless.
I came, I saw, I came, I saw. I praise the Lord, then break the law. I take what's mine, then take some more. It rains, it pours, it rains, it pours. I came, I saw, I came, I saw. I praise the Lord, then break the law. I take what's mine, then take some more. It rains, it pours, it rains, it pours.
It's the same each and every night. Glare at my screen with 2 big bloodshot eyes. I'm stuck self-torturing. My meds are failing me. Internal clock in smithereens. Can't fix this. I'm hopeless. My eyes are stapled open wide as I lay down on my side. I am bouncing off these walls. No, does my hands begin to twitch? Unprovoked assaulting of my conscience. So it's me and the TV, our enemies. Sickening static surrounding
fucking overzealous here. You've always been a huge piece of shit. If I could kill you, I would. But frowned upon in all 50 states. Having said that, burn in Tell me how you're sleeping easy, how you're only thinking of yourself. Show me how you justify telling all your lies like second nature. Listen, mark my words, one day you will
Fanget av blikkfang. Rammet av litt savn. Anger er stillstand. Du sa jeg var blitt, sa jeg var blitt navn. Hakker det byttsang. Fuck it, jeg gir faen. Jeg har vært der i 10 år. Med hjertet på byen vår. Det har vært der siden i går. Jeg rappa der de står. Og vært der når de slår. Så jeg er ikke forbisår. Jeg unner deg alt du burde forvalgt. Har funnet på noe annet i livet. Du kunne vært annet enn underbetalt og hat av Carpe Diem. For under meg alt som rapper. Dette var det jeg greide. Jeg kunne nok valgt å slacke og ikke gått hele veien hit. Hun sang for meg. Klokkene fra bysykkelen og kirken, de blanda seg til en sang for meg. Gatepop og byduridur. Det falt et eple fra gatelykta. Det jobber med å få røttene til gata fiksa. Men stopper klokka 6 for da har gata kvikna. Med gatepop og byduridur. For jeg kommer til å være på TV-en i år. Hele tiden, hele livet. Lommeboka åpen som en flygel. Og de flyr ut, hele livet ut. Like før sjalusien i deg bryter ut. Din tur mot asfaltprinsen. Blir knust og klappa bitches. Jeg gror noe kroner som gir meg tro på varme ved Mauritius. Kaller meg for hovedmann i hovedstaden og mener business. Snakker Gujarati, men de svarer fortsatt på Punjabi. Bumper, Karpe, MP3 i BMW for alltid på AG. Jeg er ikke kunsteliten. Fuck det hipsterpisset. Vi går til bunns i biten. Ler av kiksa dine. Du henger med utrolig døve moteløver, jævla klovner. Vi gir deg doper rett fra bosen til vi jævla sovner. Som har lagt det lille livet sitt i å prøve å bli som meg. Minner mam da jeg var barn og hang med RSB fra Harstad. Han sa Ragen de bør gi deg gave når jeg farsdag. Gjett hva det er farsdag for den lille nykommeren. Bilarm hype i år, så borte så nytsommeren. Skal første gang jeg sto med Magdi. Backstage sjov hoodien min, mors spagetti. Var noen problemer som bodde inni meg da. Selv ikke noe kode i på hodet. Pinnen blei bra, men det var en hoodie som grodde inni meg, bror. Nå er jeg løs og du debutanten som aldri blei noe. Den nykommeren. Halla lille nykommer. Du er aleine. Halla lille nykommer. Så aleine. Halla lille nykommer. Har du rulla med de store gutta før? Halla lille nykommer. Du er aleine. Halla lille nykommer. Så aleine. Halla lille nykommer. Har du rulla med de store gutta før? Halla nykommer. Kommer jeg med nykommer. Tipsa det med til lange etternavn om veteran i mistakes. Etter at jeg fått det litt på avstand, er det lettere å få sett på hva som ikke var spa. Det som ikke var smart, ikke løpe før start. Pengene du har spart, ikke bruke før skatt. Få det skriftlig, alt annet er løsprat. Ikke skyte video med banjo er løsbart. Få deg skjult nummer, det er ikke så chill. Med en pil av telefon fra hvert jævla forspill. Sitter midt i middag med familien når det bryter inn. Hallo Magdun. Halla lille nykommer. Du er aleine. Halla lille nykommer. Så aleine. Halla lille nykommer. Har du rulla med de store
laks dus, lille Halla, lille mi kommer. Du er aleine. Halla, lille mi kommer. Så aleine. Halla, lille mi kommer. Har du rulla med de store gutta før? Halla, lille mi kommer. Du er aleine. Halla, lille mi kommer. Så aleine. Halla, lille mi kommer. Har du rulla med de store gutta før? Har du rulla med de store gutta før? Spiser hele bacon, drikker hele mensen. Enn å selge ginsan fordi den slukker bensin. Bilen er på bjølsen, lyden er på tåsen. Toyota Corollaen min den er awesome. Kunne kjøpt classy, men valgte å kjøpe classic. Kunne kjørt fancy, men valgte å lønne bandet mitt. 97-modell med rød lakk på. Krølla 50-lapp, yo. Yeah, dette er kampen om tron, ikke kampen om kron. Stepper opp med teppedropp og tank med CO2. Alter ego i mitt alter ego. Men også predikanten har et alter ego. Yeah, jeg kan smelle pyro for en mil. Yeah, hvorfor putte gryna sin i en bil? 12 år med suksess, så jeg begynte å ta det chill. For dette er lyden av et til. Lakken min er rød. Stage var ut av mamma dagen jeg ble født. Kom og ta meg baby bak i tøyen, dans i mengdi. Kom og ta meg baby bak i tøyen, dans i mengdi. Lakken min er rød. Stage var ut av mamma dagen jeg ble født. Kom og ta meg baby bak i tøyen, dans i mengdi. Kom og ta meg baby bak i tøyen, dans i mengdi. Vi var 15 år med en plan, og planen var ikke tull. Vi trodde på to ting, Frank Bakk og Gud. Nå tror jeg bare på en av de, ingen diss. Telefonen er tyst, det er lenge siden sist. Og jeg er på byen med noen folk som sier sex er alt. Mens meg vi planlegger livet mitt i en Excel-ark. Regnearket hans er grunnen til at jeg er home free. Han valgte feil fyr å rappe med. Folk vil banke Raggi Skau, etterlate han dau. Det blir dagen jeg får hedda med til han er kam haug. Og vi ruller rundt i Toyota til Magdi med den næra. Og vi mater av jalebi over gårde i den skjæra. Men disse penga er bare tall for meg. Disse barna betyr alt for meg. De sier Raggi kunne ikke blitt mer i pop, for han ble rik og fikk en mil til å pusse en fritidsklubb. Lakken min er rød. Stage var ut av mamma dagen jeg ble født. Kom og ta meg baby bak i tøyen, dans i mengdi. Kom og ta meg baby bak i tøyen, dans i mengdi. Lakken min er rød. Stage var ut av mamma dagen jeg ble født. Kom og ta meg baby bak i tøyen, dans i mengdi. Kom og ta meg baby bak i tøyen, dans i mengdi.
The systems are pumping, the systems are pumping, the systems are pumping. To the volume, the systems are pumping, the
går det nemlig bort med klær. Soviaksi, sekken, psoriasis i nakken. Viker og flekker på hodet, strekker seg sakte, men sikkert oppover panna. Han 23 år, og må finne seg kone kjapt, for snart ser du ikke noe hår. Hvem vet er bedre enn meg? Jeg ser de sexigste skreppene veit, av selv de beste menneskene i byen vår. Harskavanker, 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 harskavanker. La meg fortelle om en vellykket kar. Spellemannkandidat, selger som faen. Helt elegant, peneste duden, Aladdin håret, hennes i huden. Tenk deg om, bror, du vet hvem det er. Det er den du tror, greit det er meg. Men harskavanker står og holder, og er vanskelig, jeg lover. Kan si at jeg har 12 tårer, sånn at sankthansbålet slokner. Sover dårlig, sikkert si at det er ikke en overdrivelse. Si at jeg har ikke biceps eller muskler, chicks da syns det er dritsexy. Hei, jeg tynner en flatbrød, jeg er mer på si enn en katte. Det er de andre rapperne også, det er bare at de aldri har tørt å sagt det. Så se på The Boy som oppstand, det er queer. Jeg bytter håndbak med noen chicks for de syns motstand er fair. Hva skjer? Hvem vet er bedre enn meg? Jeg ser de sexigste skreppene veit, av selv de beste menneskene i byen vår. Harskavanker, vi kan temme dem, like dem og stelle. Harskavanker, putte litt krem på dem, sprit på dem, hjemme. Harskavanker, vi kan klemme dem, drit i dem, brenne dem. Harskavanker, og kanskje glemme dem, men fakta er at vi har nipper, vi har kviser, vi har munnsår. Vi har vorter, vi har fregner, vi har tynt hår. Vi har psoriasis eller atopisk eksem. Vi har fotsopp eller et annet problem. Så de med nupper, de med kviser, de med munnsår. De med vorter, de med fregner, de med tynt hår. De med arr, og de med masse føflekker. Ei, alle har noe så det er rart at dette ødelegger. Hvem vet er bedre enn meg? Jeg ser de sexigste skreppene veit, av selv de beste menneskene i byen vår. Harskavanker, 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 harskavanker.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much for coming out tonight. Yes, the whole concert. It's been great. Love you. You love us. Okay, now. 1, 2.
Vi spiller show etter show, for show smiler vi. Og etter show kommer folk, og så sier de
Yeah, du er the man, og du er fet. Kul, jeg er så fan, kompis.
Vi spiller show etter show, for show smiler vi. Og etter show kommer folk, og så sier de Spør rappere og fikse caber er lett. Hun sto bak scenen i de minste klærne jeg har sett. Hun sa jeg er ikke groupie-fan, og jeg er i hvert fall ikke din. Mens hun tvinna tyggis rundt den høyre pekefingeren sin. Jeg sa fine, jeg synes backstage er wack og gay. Og jeg er ikke Vinnie, jeg er ikke Wim, så jeg er ikke Opek. Så jeg er ikke slik, jeg er ikke rik eller noe av det. Så hvis du liker meg, er du nødt til å være dopane. Er du dopane? Ja, vi er dopane. Jeg la meg si det til Rashid og kan ikke godta det. Da har utstyret til å starte det meieriet. Jeg er en kul fyr og så mye deiligere enn alle du har møtt i hele ditt liv. Folk dress to impress, jeg er dress to kill. Jeg er på CD, jeg er på TV, mest TV. Beste sendetid, jeg er den beste skira. Vi spiller show etter show, for show smiler vi. Og etter show kommer folk, og så sier de
Yeah, du er the man, og du er fet. Kul, jeg er så fan, kompis.
Vi spiller show etter show, for show smiler vi. Og etter show kommer folk, og så sier de Jeg husker det som det var i går. Jeg sto på scenen. Jeg kan huske jeg la merke til at dama var så pen at jeg sa unnskyld. Men har du tid til å chatte litt, for jeg forguder øya dine og palestinaskjerfet ditt, baby. Her vil du vite hvor nydelig du er. Nydelig som vær når det er nydelig vær. Selv har jeg talefeil og sliter litt med ord. Flere ord
skjer og drikker ring og rora. Jeg er ikke så høy, men jeg passer gæren. Jeg er ikke svær, men jeg pumper litt vaffeljern. Og vi kan snakke politikk om Bondevik på rommet mitt, men dama ga meg pornoblikk og spurte om vi skulle kose litt. Jeg svarte dama jo og ja, men vel. Trenger vi å leke mor og far i kveld? Vi kan heller spille sjakk hvis du vil. Bli med til hotell og se på svart-hvitt film. Ikke noe sexstress, ikke noe headpress. Vi kan diskutere mens vi lytter til Dead Press. Ha en dag i byen, det er over i morgen, og vi kan sitte og snakke om livet til klokka blir damer. Vi spiller show etter show, for show smiler vi. Og etter show kommer folk, og så sier de yeah, du er the man, og du er fet, kul, jeg er så fan, kompis. Vi spiller show etter show, for show smiler vi. Og etter show kommer folk, og så sier de yes, thank you, I hope you liked it, I know you liked it. For all the pretty girls, we're having a party at the hotel room afterwards. Just knock on the door. Before you go, I would like to thank Mess TV, P3, NRK, of course our DJ Soulshock, give it up, yes. Our band members, Stephen Falk, Hardy on harmonica, Ali on drums, Cam on guitar, Fadlabi on tabla, and Rumbling on piano. Play some piano, boy. Yeah, that's really good because it's our band and we're really good and I'm really good. I want to thank all the fans all over the world who made this dream of mine and our band members and my companion possible. We love you, you love us. Oh, this is great. I might have forgotten somebody, but yes, thank you. May the sun always shine on your faces and the wind blow gently on all of your backs. Goodbye. Aloma, Aloma, ta deg med til der de ikke har det, men det er adje. Hinnesko og Telemark og hyttetur til Krage. Ingen der har hørt noe om Aram og Ramadan før, og alle siste var når du ikke ville ha øl. Ei, halvt koko via mineral. Vestkant, svarting av skjorte med polospiller på. På den kanten var det 2-3 stykker. Det var Sumit og meg pluss Sadik som flytta så. Et for og etternavn de sleit med i timen. Eneste araberen, eneste muslimen. Bendik, Henrik, Preben, Oda, Vibeke, Thea, Tobias, Fredrik, Nora, Frøken. Pust inn og slapp av deg, Megdi, Omar, Mohammed, Abdel, Megid, Mustafa. Eller ytre deg om du vil. Og jeg ville ikke bytta navnet mitt mot en mil, kanskje 2.
Hvor er du bor hen nå?
Nei, la meg ta deg med til byen min.
Hvor er du bor hen nå?
Nei, la meg ta deg med til Oslo.
Hvor er du bor hen nå?
Nei, la meg ta deg med til byen min.
Hvor er du bor hen nå?
Nei, la meg ta deg med til Oslo. Er det krig, er det egentlig Chirac, knerter han og handler. Du har beef i magen, jeg har kikerter og nambrød. Kikker på meg rart, har aldri sett en farga mann før. Vi sparker rett i tørka mens vi banker opp en nambøg. Alt koko vi kan finne på. Vestkant, svarting av skjorte med krokodille på. Jeg legger smart, men du vet vi får tid, man. Prøv å være svarting på feil side av byen. Det er hvor de chiller'n oppe i villaer, og det er streit, og det er fint. Og gutta putter opp en rosa leike for limet. Begynte å pakke bagen min, flytter til Romsås. Gutta så på meg og tenkte jævla homsås. Dum som noensinne håpet på å passe inn. Møtte noensinne av verden siden første klassetrinn. Jeg dro til Homlia, de kalte meg kokosnøtt. Pratet sleng med kombish, og han syntes at det var
Hvor er
sukkersjø.
du bor hen nå?
Nei, la meg ta deg med til byen min.
Hvor er du bor hen nå?
Nei, la meg ta deg med til Oslo.
Hvor er du bor hen nå?
Nei, la meg ta deg med til byen min.
Hvor er du bor hen nå?
Nei, la meg ta deg med til Oslo.
Bli med til stedet der hvor ord som tæsje og avord er dagligdags. Dårlig på skole for fyr med flaks. Hvis du ikke kommer verdenskunst, stopper deg for en verdgrunn. Bare fordi du ikke heter Thomas eller Audun. Pluss alt det syke gutta finner på. Østkant, svarting av t-skjorte, fikk den billig her. Funker dårlig med damer nå for tida. De snur og går når de hører jeg er fra Holmlia. Der borte er du unik.
rik, der i hvert fall kulderer. Her er jeg en svarting av 15 001 ass. Og ikke tro vi kommer inn på noen utesteder. I hvert fall ikke hvis det ikke er noe Knut i stedet. Vi er ikke utilfredse, vi elsker stedet der tyve gods florerer mer enn bannebånd og rosa klær. Og si det var til meg en vanlig ting. For en eller annen grunn er alle sammen vant til
Hvor er
alibi.
du bor hen da?
Nei, la meg ta deg med til byen min. Byen min.
Hvor er du bor hen da?
La meg ta deg med til Oslo.
Hvor er du bor hen da?
Nei, la meg ta deg med til byen min. Byen min.
Hvor er du bor hen da?
La meg ta deg med til Oslo.
Hvor er du bor hen da?
Visste du at om livet mitt var en timeplan, hadde du vært den der gymtimen vi hadde da vi var barn? Visste du at bankkontoen min er kontoen din? Er ikke det fint? Er ikke det snilt? Nok en ting å dunke inn pin-koden til. Men jeg velte verden for deg, du velte glasset på meg, som ga meg en flekk på skjorta mi som fikk fram rasshøl i meg. Du sier jeg er overfladisk, begge fråder abyss, at det er en del av planen min bør gjøre deg overglatt, bitch. Ikke be meg få noe struktur i en bransje full av kukker. Jeg er på et sted mellom pupper og foreldra mines kultur. Jeg og meg de gjør det som ingen har gjort før. Kors på hals, kniv i hjertet helt til mor og far er død. Du hadde en plan for meg, du hadde en planlegger. Jeg sparket planleggeren, vi har ikke en plan lenger. Du hadde en plan for meg, du hadde en planlegger. Jeg sparket planleggeren, vi har ikke en plan lenger. For du ber om litt for mye, ber om litt for mye. Du ber om litt for mye ting. Ber om litt for mye, ber om litt for mye. Du ber om litt for mye ting.
Velkommen til National Cypher 2011. Mitt navn er JR. Jeg har med meg Oslos fremste ordførere i første del av National Cypher. Med meg har jeg Carpe Diem, Pumba, Don Martin, og som DJ har vi Nasty Cut. Let's go!
Yo, jeg har mitt hjerte i Oslo hvor jeg kommer fra. Ingen by bedre enn Oslo på en sommerdag. Og alle måneder drar selvsagt, vi eier plassen. Du vet jeg stammer fra østkant, arbeiderklassen. Jeg har en finger med i spillet rundt i Groruddalen. En annen finger om du ikke digger tiggerstaden. En ringrev med ringefinger og ting er tre. Når ting skjer er tingeling med. Men kan man få min hatt? Navnet er Martin, jeg er minstemann fra gatas parlament. Ikke parlamentet bak Akersgata. Ta betalt for spade, ta apekatter. Vi må ha mat av sprader stadig frem og prøve prakke på deg gatas plata. Tar over sjappa så det kan sjakka krabba. Blakket i blakket i blakka, brakka blir stappa med gatas. Og nå tar verset slutt før jeg går tom for pust. En gang romsavskudd, alltid romsavskudd.
Aldri solgt en løgn, silikon i tunga. Aldri hatt så gøy som en million i lomma. Wow, vi klarte å bruke opp alt på et liveshow. Pluss en leilighet, et bryllup på en iPhone. Og jeg ga mammaen min en bil, og hun så på meg som om en lege sa hun har fått hiv. Damn, jeg vet at disse vingene ble stein, som en tåre var på vei da venninna hennes grein. Ingen er av meg, dette er bare bilsen. Fylte Rockefeller nå, men vent til etter vilsen. Sender ut en hilsen til alle som har vilje. Grådighet er stemoren til ambisjon og vilje. Dette vingespenn er stort, og nå flyr vi mot det ingen her har gjort. Så når du finner ut at livet ditt er tomt, kan du sikkert finne et bilde av meg i en bok.
I do it for my city, this man is different. I feel like the Pope, everybody's hand kissing. So kiss the ring or kiss the game goodbye. It's the prince so high I kiss the sky. They wanna battle but I hardly see them. I'm mad calm brains and I carpe diem. Make the ground shake when I walk. I do it real big, Björn Eidsvåg. Grab a rope, come and hang with the best. Spike Lee and MJ dangling off my chest. My flow is celebrated, I elevate it to heaven. So my chest is decorated with legends. But why is he the only one rapping in English? Cause I'm international asshole with a mad flow. I'm a beast but I'm glad though, even in attack mode. You rap bastards know, JR.
Jeg vet hva du har i bagasjen. Du kan ikke lure meg, spør Jan Fredrik Karlsen. Om du kan danse jeg et annet sted i valsen. Du har pepperpenis langt ned i halsen. Tipser klikken din om ikke å starte rap-band. Tisper er tispe, gjør en lapdance. Oh, du likte meg da jeg var ydmyk, da de kunne dytte meg i ring til jeg ble bilsyk. Nei, det er ikke mangel på noe innsikt. Navigerer gjennom slangene som er i min by. Ingen er forbudt en gravstein på drømmen min. I see you motherfucker som Jake Sullivan. Lykke til med å prøve å finne akillesen. Og jeg trener vekter med en dørvakt fra Lillestrøm. Yo, where the party at? Rå egg, tunfisk, er det hardy cap? Come on.
De kaller meg wasabi, du er skeiver enn Tony Pisa. Picasso med dritten sleiper, jeg smiler Mona Lisa. PUMBA, tunga som barbierblad. De snakker om å fly landet så fort de bare ser han. Hater dere kan ikke snakke mer. Pleide å omplassere bolivianere for lappene. Kjent i disse traktene, autoritet jeg snakker med. Alene er mer enn nok til å sette en støkk i motherfuckerne. Stepper inn i stedet, har kontroll. Så når jeg står på scenen, når de ser meg ett ord, det er kontroll. Leker etter en dum ho, som tidligvis var damer i ditcher. Jeg ble med meg, så hvem er dum nå? Leken er litt, har fortjent med respekt. Ærlig med meg selv, så du vet godt at jeg lever hver tekst. Gjort det siden liten kid, rap, det er livet mitt. Stilig hvor enn du ser meg, dama, de kan bekrefte mitt,
Velkommen tilbake til del 2 av National Cypher 2011. Mitt navn er JR, og for denne gang har jeg gått utenfor Oslo og tatt med meg noen av landets beste artister. Med meg har jeg Chris, Jodski, Jonny og Onkel P, og som DJ har vi Rykkenfella. Dette er National Cypher 2011. Let's go!
Merry Christmas! Så de spurte, han det er noe kult ved. Så mye gull og platina burde bli gullsmed. Det her er sjukt lett, jeg gruser den på nett. Det her er kun lek, jeg ler av 100 000 treff. Vi snakker big cheese, ingenting for pusterom. Fucking big leagues, deres liv er gutter. Melder, så uvitende som om du ikke visste det. Av back to business skulle pisse på hitlistene. Så jeg har tjent bra, er ikke
Greeting comrades, I hope you all doing well. So today, greeting comrades. Greeting comrades, I hope you all doing well. Today, I want to talk about some situation. Situation you probably know about. But let me show it to you. Wait for it. Oof. It's not looking good, my friends. It is not looking good. Anyway, some small disclaimer before we start. I didn't play this game for like 7 or 8 months already. I don't give a fuck, really. But thanks to that, emotions calm down. I'm no longer upset. I just don't want to be horny anymore. I just want to be happy.
Oh, gacha time, let's go! Is this rare?
Oh, regular one.
あれどうしたの嬉しい匂い
What? Is she dog? So today, I will give my take what I think I go wrong with this game that it completely gone into graveyard. Without further ado, let's go straight into it. First member of this shit show is Smilegate Studio, South Korean developers that make the game. And believe me or not, you cannot blame them too much. On the beginning, they tried to make the fair game. There was no fions. You drop the jewelry, you have the wrong stat on the jewelry, you can reload it. There is no RNG honing, and there is limited material per character, and you cannot trade the materials between your character. You play the one character, and there is no alting city. So they begin on high note. But it wasn't received well by the Korean audience, and the game almost died. So they tempered the game, they changed the game to suit more the Korean, more grindy and more dedicated audience, and the game was top 3 on charts. And I remember when there was like the huge patch with the Abril shoot, they scored 300,000 online with 10 servers on Korean only. So the game was big success, and it's still top 10 in the charts. So I cannot expect Eastern Asian guys that never been in EU or NA, don't know the culture, don't know how we are doing here to exactly make the game has. He have no idea. The other big company that tried that is Tencent. They made WeChat in China, the application that 1 billion people in China use. Everyone uses WeChat in China. It's used for taxi payment, chatting there. Everything is there. And they tried to bring it to West. They even get, Lionel Messi as their advertising star. Boom. 300k people have it installed outside the China. They failed. So I really don't expect the Asian developers to know what the fuck they doing for the West. They do good things for their market, and the charts show that. They are top 10 games in the rankings. They were top 3. When they make the changes, they are successful. Now time for the fan favorite Amazon Game Studio. So the game didn't do well 2 years before in Russia server, greedy nature of the game. Pay to win, population wasn't so happy. Okay, year later, Japanese, same, the game didn't do well, same complaints, and Amazon's before that see this and they think what we can do to change the game for the better, what we can do to do westernization. Oh, they think, they think really hard, and let's race swap some characters. Oh yes, problem solved. And that really pissed me off. That really pissed me off when I make, unhinged videos. And I was right to be upset, We have 2 regions that didn't do well because of the same issues, and we repeated the same mistake for the 3rd time. And I was very upset. I quit the game, and then I joined Twitch, and my perspective changed. Story time. So I get into Twitch. I try to learn how to get, good broadcast quality, all the limitations, all the technologies are what behind, chats, plugins, and this is fucked up. Oh no, so you are telling me the biggest streaming platform for the gamers and for live streams have the worst streaming quality? How that possibly happen? Alright, I'm here to tell you. So we are going some technical now, so skip if you are not into it, So you have your camera or your fancy phone, and when you record the pictures and the movie, ching, it takes a lot of space. 1 second of raw footage can be like 300, 400, 500 megabytes heavy for all of this super expensive camera. And now you have this 500 megabyte movie. How you gonna send it and live stream it? People have like 5 meg internet in the forest. How they gonna watch, or 1 meg? How they gonna watch this footage? Aha! Then the technology knows as video codecs come into place. You know them like X5 to X264, X265, What they do is you get the paper, they compress it using algorithms, it sends into the server, and the server use the same algorithm to unpack it, decode the video, and boom, it can be displayed on your screen. Aha, but as you can see, as this paper, there are some artifacts. So those algorithms are not perfect in their job, and when the picture is unpacked to its original state, because we cut down 90% of the weights, you can see some artifacts and imperfection. This encoding and decoding algorithm was developed by a bunch of companies. They were like named HV something. I'm gonna put all of them now on the screen so you can see who was behind the development. The older version is called 264. Now is what the Twitch uses, and the modern one, more modern one, is 265. And of course it's free. How it is free? Well, if you extend 100,000 viewers, you need 100,000 views per year, or live streams, I don't know. You need to pay the royalty to all of these patent holders that you see them before. And as you may guess, the big streaming platform that stream video like Netflix, Amazon, or Google were not happy with paying the royalty fees for every viewer, because if you have millions of viewers, it quickly adds up. So what they do, they bunch together, they make like open alliance group or something, and they develop their own compress and decompress algorithm, and they call it AV1. Now, is this big deal, you may ask? Well, if Twitch will roll out support for this video format to be streamed to their platform that was developed by their parent company, not only they will save money, but even with the limited bandwidth now we have on Twitch right now, that is like 6 megabytes, 6.5 megabyte, that's how much it is accepted, you will be able to play 4K 30 frames per second, or 1440p 60 frames per second, and that will dramatically increase the quality of the video on the Twitch, and everyone will be happy. We will have better quality, and the Twitch will pay no money in royalty. Discord already have it, YouTube already have it, and for the streamer to be able to do it, you need to pay $150 for a card. But Wizard, what it all have to do with Lost Ark? Ha! Glad you ask. All of this Twitch situation make me realize what I'm dealing with. Everyone know where the problem is, and the problem is still not solved. It's because no one gives a fuck. You deliver extreme customer performance. You try your best to make us happy. You getting $20 per hour. You are doing average customer experience and maybe below average. You are just do what they are telling to do. How many you get? $20 per hour. They working until 5, and you know it. 60, 55, or 57, there is already a queue in front of the clock machine. The car engines are already warming up on the parking lot. And 5 p.m., boom, everyone fuck off. Office is completely empty. There is no souls left there. Because no one gives a fuck about the future of the game or the future of the service. They are told what they have to do, and they do it. It is what it is. There is no incentive. There is no reward for you to get better. Maybe sometime in 20 years, when you're gonna work for 20 years, you're gonna evolve in the food chain. So why they should care? They don't care. They just do what they need to do, and they go along with their life. And that's outcome of it. No one gives a fuck. That's why it make me really happy that the Strummer Asmongold opening their publishing studio. Maybe we have some bright future in front of us. But for now, Souls corporations are on the rule, and I don't see anything goes better. That's all I have today. Thank you very much for all the supporters that keep the channel going. If you want more, I'm streaming almost every day on Twitch. Then if you even have more, there is like fresh clip channel and VOD channel on YouTube that you can also watch. We're gonna upload there more really soon. And yeah, I hope you all doing well, and I hope so see you soon.
You got fake teeth, fake hair, and a fake body. You're basically a Colombian whore. You're a Colombian whore. If I was trying to do that, I would sound genetically superior to you in every single way. But instead, we were having a conversation.
Oh, this is horrible.
Your jealousy caused you to try to throw a slit shot, and I don't like passive aggressiveness.
Jealousy of you? Why would I be jealous of you?
That's why I came back aggressive. I'll tell you why, because I have...
Now, hold that thought, ladies and gents. I got a panel I need to do right now. Sorry, it's on my schedule wrong. It's an hour earlier. Also, what is this? Hold on.
But this guy's just a fucking little bitch ass, bro. He's brave on the internet.
Now the question is, why did he start with you? Like, I know why he started with me, but why did Destiny start with you?
Oh, he started with you too?
Yeah.
But why do you start with you?
Because what he does is that's all he can do is talk shit. What's that guy gonna do? Is he gonna fucking do something? Now, I'm a fighter too, man. I fucking wrestled in high school. I did jujitsu for many fucking years. I've been doing kickboxing. I'm not. You're really. I saw my hands really good. But I'm not boxer. I'm kickboxer, MMA guy. And this little fat, all he can do is sit there and run his little literal fucking mouth. That's all he can do. That's all his little can do. Like if this was 100 years ago, we would have swooped into his village and killed him by now. You know what I mean? So, sorry, I'm savage, bro. I hope you're not recording this.
All right, cool. Well, I'm gonna get dressed.
All of the things you've paid to get. You've paid to get. You're a loser. And you've pretended to be something you're not. That's why you got embarrassed by those 3 women, because you don't know how to handle women. That's why you got a case for hitting a woman in Japan, because you cannot handle rejection. You've been dealing with it your whole damn life.
So
you're mad.
You haven't watched anything.
You're mad. You're big mad. And you're a fake phony bastard. And we know you're phony because you said, oh, if he wouldn't say that in front of my face, boy, I would spit in your face and you wouldn't do shit. Yeah, you wouldn't do shit.
I would do something if you spit
Remember this when you see me. You better fucking walk up to me with a smile, Mr. Burton. Yes, sir. No, sir. Because now you know where I stand.
Greeting, comrade.
Well, gentlemen, another episode, and today we have an extremely special guest, somebody who I met a couple of years ago. Was a big, tremendous help to me, and has been a help to a lot of people in the community. Today, I'd like to welcome Dr. K to the podcast.
It's an honor to be
Welcome.
Thanks for having me, y'all.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is I've had so many things I want to ask you about, want to talk about. Oh, I am so excited about this. This is going to be great.
I'm looking forward to it too.
Very much so.
Yeah, I have 1,000 questions in my mind that I'm currently queuing up. And we also talked too about 2.5 years ago, and that also changed my life.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was insane.
Okay, cool.
It was during my big Genshin days where I was losing it.
Oh God, that was not a good time, was it?
Yeah, no, Dr. K came in and just provided me clarity. It was awesome.
This is my first time talking to him, but I'm mostly excited to talk about games because we were talking about Souls and games he's played, old games before the podcast started.
Yeah, we were having a conversation about Sekiro, and is it truly a perfect game or not? And yeah, I mean,
Case says no.
Well, he does, but
you said
no. Wait, let him give his
it can still be a perfect game. I just chose not to like it.
Yes. Keep in mind, the first time that I played Sekiro, I didn't even get like you stopped at Owl.
Yeah.
Like I got the guy with the spear that you have to learn to like stomp on the spear with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the first boss or something, right? Second boss, something like that.
I haven't played it yet.
Yeah. I rage quit the game at that point.
Really?
So yeah.
Okay.
And so yeah, don't feel bad about it. But I wanted to ask, like, obviously, getting into like gaming and seeing games like Dark Souls, do you feel like games like that are in any way sort of like a metaphor? Because you were saying that you loved a lot of the lore in Dark Souls. Do you feel like it's a metaphor at all of like kind of the human condition?
Oh my
like
God.
That's such a big question. So like I have so many things. Like I'm not even.
If it is a metaphor for the human condition, we're screwed. Like,
It's
to be
very
clear.
fucking bleak.
Yes.
But I mean, I think that if you really look at it, right, there's got to be some weird subconscious stuff going on in Miyazaki's head. where
Yeah.
I remember reading some stuff about how he thinks about game design, and he like actually is like kind of sadistic about it. He's like, I want to make people suffer.
I think he unironically said one time that he wanted losing in the game to feel like balding as an adult male. Wow. Something like that. Like, yeah, it was something ridiculous. And like, I took that personally. And so, yeah, it was a good time. But I mean, I think that like, what do you think like compels people to be so like attached to the lore in Dark Souls? Because you see this like with other games a little bit, but like Dark Souls has like such a massive emphasis on the lore. People are making like, you know, videos with millions of views. Is it because it's hard to get or what?
Well, so I think that if you look at gaming and just society in general, like we're getting shallower, right? So like it used to be blogs and then it was tweets and it used to be YouTube videos and like video essays and now it's like shorts and TikTok. And so I think that there's a large percentage of the population that doesn't like the shortening and simplification and shallowing of stuff.
Yeah.
And because the thing about Dark Souls lore is like not everyone is into it, right? But the people who are into it like really crave it.
Oh yeah.
And it's really interesting because I watched like lore videos for Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
And then I understood enough about how they put the story together to where the cool thing about Elden Ring is like I decided I'm not going to watch any lore videos. I'm going to figure out for myself.
Oh my God.
And so it's actually like sleuthing. And this is the problem is that if you look today, like if you look at WoW, for example, like you go to WoW Wiki and everything's on there. There's no discovery in games.
Not only is everything on there, but the future patch has been data mined from the public test realm.
Absolutely.
And all of the cinematics, the voice lines have been put on there, and you already know who's going to die.
So like discovery, like back when when I was growing up, we were talking about the NES.
Yeah.
And like so there wasn't the internet, so you had to. Games were full of discovery. Like every game you played, you have to figure things out.
What was the first game you looked up stuff for on the internet?
Maybe like Valkyrie Profile, if you guys even know what that
What
is.
the fuck is that?
Yeah, I have no
what system
idea.
is that on?
PlayStation.
What?
Oh wow. Okay.
PlayStation
I never
1.
played PlayStation.
JRPG, fantastic game.
Really? Okay. I was Super Mario World, and I remember looking it up in like 1999 or something like that, 2000. And it is so crazy to think that like now, like I was looking up cheat codes, I didn't know anything about the game. And like now, it's literally people's job to teach you how to play a video game. That is nuts.
So cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
Also, some people just play video games for a living.
And they don't even do it very well either.
So poppin'.
Yeah, no, I think it's incredible. I mean, like just seeing the way that that gaming has evolved, and I think also like gaming has been, and I'm sure you'll attest to this. I think gaming is a little bit of a. There's a lot of people that are not in like really great headspaces with gaming, especially on like streams and like YouTube, etc. And I don't really know. Like, do you think that gaming causes that, or people that are like that are attracted to gaming because of the escapism, or where do you think that falls?
I think it's actually a little bit of both. So if you just look at the research, we know that video games have addictive qualities. Like you can do like brain scans, and people will have done these studies. And what's really interesting, by the way, is that if you do studies on the addictive potential of video games, it's the denial of reward that is actually addicting. Which sort of makes sense. Like, why would people
like
play
the
Dark
Elden Ring
Souls?
story?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Right?
Souls and Genshin and Star Rail.
Yeah, right. So gotcha games. It's so the human brain, we're like actually primed for this, where if something is difficult, we place more value on it.
Right.
And so even if you look at like the normal people, right, they value things that are harder to achieve.
Oh yeah.
And so we have like social status around like being a doctor, for example.
Graduating from Harvard.
From Harvard. Things like that, right? And so people are, the interesting thing is that we've sort of figured out, okay, if something is hard, it's worth more.
Right.
There's a really fascinating study actually done here, I think at UT, where they took fraternities and they asked them, okay, how good is your fraternity? And what they sort of found is that people valued fraternities based on how bad the hazing was.
I knew you were going to say that.
And so there was one fraternity, which is a crappy fraternity, which I shall not name.
I've heard some crazy shit about
Doesn't give you connections or anything like that.
Right.
It's just a bunch of people who just.
Yeah, this is not the Freemasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what they would do with their pledges is they'd strip them naked, tie them to a tree, and then pee on them.
Bro, what?
Were they upside down?
No, they were right side up.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
See, it's not that bad, guys.
So you know.
The shit that I've heard about fraternities doing is disgusting. Like there was even a comment on our Patreon that I actually found this out about.
Oh God.
Which, by the way, thank y'all for supporting the Patreon. It's been great. Appreciate y'all.
Hell yeah.
There's this thing called a soggy biscuit.
Oh God, no.
God, I don't even.
I shouldn't talk about that. I shouldn't talk about that.
No,
Wait, I don't. I want to know what this is.
What, have you heard about that?
I want to
No,
know.
I have
what
not
this
heard
is.
about a soggy biscuit.
I've heard of
Man,
the term, but I don't know what it is.
I assume it's not something that you dip
I
into tea.
really hope that the researchers at UT don't either.
So there's this thing. The worst thing is, there's another thing called elephant walk. Have you heard about that too?
Nope.
Okay, one of my brothers participated in that, so I know that one's real. But there's this other one called soggy biscuit that I found out the other day, and it's where they get 4 dudes, one to each side of a cracker, okay, and they all have to jerk off in front of each other, and they have to come on the cracker, and the person who can't do it has to eat it.
I guess like. I guess in terms of fraternities, I mean that one has got to be like way above the tree thing, right? I mean, like nobody want to be in that one, or everybody would actually. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so
that
going back to why people play
going
video
back,
games.
Yeah.
Going back on point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why?
You get
Yeah, I
so
know.
I think I
red,
need to
dude.
like
You get so
Alt
red.
F4 here for a second.
Well, it's like the way that a lot of these games and everything work is that you're totally right. It's like I don't know how many times, like if you ever played a game that's like an online game and people are like, man, I did this whenever it was hard, or oh, this was like, oh, I used to have this whenever it was hard to get. Now everybody gets it. It doesn't matter anymore.
I hate that shit.
Oh, I was totally one of those people.
But dude,
Absolutely.
when I beat
Elitist.
Millennia,
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, well, it used to be harder. I'm like, what the
Yeah.
fuck you want me to do?
Yeah.
You want to download a patch?
Those people are so annoying. I get
It's the
people who are like,
worst.
don't use that weapon or it's cheating because I used one that was not as good as that one.
Yep.
It's like, bruh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Who
absolutely.
cares?
People want you to go through that exact same thing. It's like, playing video games badly or playing video games without certain things. It's pretty much digital hazing to an extent, right? At least watching people go through it.
Yeah, it's exactly the same.
Yeah, clearly. And no, I think that that's not really a surprise. People put like more value on that kind of stuff, and it like builds up in people's minds. But I wonder, like, I see a lot of conversation, especially now, about how video games are being used as like a replacement for like real life accomplishments. And I was wondering, like, why do you think that so many people are moving over to trying to accomplish things in video games whenever they can't do it, or instead of doing it in real life?
Well, so okay, really fascinating question. So let's just take a step back and understand a couple things about the brain.
Okay.
So our brain has like different parts, right? And
Yeah.
some parts can't tell the difference between certain things.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, like the more primordial parts, the reptilian parts of our brain, like adrenaline in a video game is the same as adrenaline in real life, right?
Yeah, I know that.
So, but so what basically happens when we play a game is some parts of our brain kind of get tickled, and it's the same as anything else.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Describe it like that.
But the problem is that other parts do know the difference. So we know that, like, being number one on the ladder of a particular game. Well, now that may have some real world value,
Yeah.
but accomplishing things in games, parts of us know that it's false. The
Right.
problem is if you think about how do game designers know what's fun? They know what's fun because these are the parts of the brain that like actually get activated.
Yeah.
So literally, it's no different to our brain whether it's virtual or it's not virtual.
Right.
It's kind of all the same. And so what's happening is, and now we have this option where
Yeah.
if you kind of think about success in the real world, like you can play Dark Souls and you wipe and you wipe and you wipe, and eventually the game is designed for you to win.
It's programmed to lose.
Well, actually, you're programmed to win, right?
Well, I mean, like the game is programmed to lose. You are
Yeah,
programmed
yeah.
to win.
The game is
Exactly, yeah,
you're supposed to win in the end,
Right.
And now I've got a choice because if I go out and like let's say like I ask people out on dates, like I'm not guaranteed to win,
Yeah.
right? So the real world, we have difficulty followed by reward, and basically we know that the degree of dopamine release is correlated with the degree of difficulty.
Yeah.
Okay. That
Right?
makes a lot of sense.
And this is why easy games are boring. Why are they boring? Because they don't release any dopamine because there's no challenge involved.
Yeah, of course.
And so now what we sort of know is that, okay, so the harder it is, the more dopamine we get released. This is why as society we respect people for accomplishing things like winning at the Olympics.
Yeah.
Because it's harder. And now games have figured out how to tap into that. And so they sort of trigger those same dopaminergic impulses based on the harder it is. Like I remember when I beat Dark Souls 1 for the
Yeah.
first time, like you feel amazing.
Yeah.
Like, even like beating like Iudex Gundyr, like I beat Dark Souls 1, went straight into Dark Souls 3, and I was like, okay, I beat Gwyn, right? So I can beat the first boss, like tutorial boss, easy. I got my ass handed to me.
one-shot it, to be fair.
Wait, which boss?
Really?
Ludex Gundyr, the first boss. You one-shot that boss, didn't you?
Which one? Which
Souls
one?
3? Which one was that? I already don't remember.
First boss.
What does he look like?
The guy that like he has the halberd and like he like
Wait,
spears
with the
you.
crazy arm?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Sick.
Chad moves.
Okay, well, I have a problem where the bosses that people say, like, oh, this one's so hard, you're going to be for hours, is not hard. And then the ones where, like, oh, this one's easy. Like,
Remember the
do you remember
Moonlight
Moonlight
Butterfly?
Butterfly?
Yeah, there you go.
That was one of the hardest ones for me.
Moonlight Butterfly is in
Dark Souls 1.
I don't remember.
Remember, like you were in the forest, you went up the that like castle, that dilapidated castle, and then like there was this butterfly, and it would shoot like these green things at you, and then it
You're
would
on a
land and
bridge.
you would hit
Yeah,
it.
I think that was one of the ones that I
Yeah.
thought was pretty. I sort of did pretty easily. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
Because the thing about
Sorry.
the thing about Dark Souls is that like your instinct is to run away, but that's always the wrong move.
Stand your ground.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can actually like DPS race like some bosses.
Yeah, you can 100%.
Absolutely.
and,
I
and
learned
that's
that.
just not what you would expect, right? Because you're like a dude with a club, but it's like no.
Yeah. Yeah. My chat was so angry every time that worked. And so, yeah, I understand it. Do you think that, like, so you're saying that obviously, like, the harder games. By the way, did you see the video of the girl that can play Elden Ring with her brainwaves?
No.
Is that the
Nuts.
DDR pad girl, too?
No.
Oh.
Straight
Oh.
up. If she thinks certain things, the patterns, and like there's like a sensor that she puts on her head, it can play Elden Ring just simply with her brain. Like I think she beat Radon.
Oh, yeah, she would say, like, she would think
Radon?
of, like
waves,
an
right?
ocean wave to,
Yeah.
like, do certain things.
Yeah, it was incredible.
That must be some kind of weird, but I'm super curious about that because
Yeah.
while we can sort of do that with biofeedback, there's a lot of like, unless she's got like implants or something, there's a lot of electrical interference with like hair and things like that.
I don't know how
I
it
wonder if
happened.
it's some biofeedback device.
I watched it. Like, I'm gonna eventually interview on my stream or something like that because I mean I'm sure like have you seen like there it is, it's right there.
And we're sure this is real?
I mean, like I'm as sure. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's not, but like
Because
certainly seems
people
like
think that other video game, the really good graphics one, is real. I don't think that's just real either.
Oh, I think it is.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you seen that?
Kinda.
What?
There's this new game where the graphics are like more real than real life.
It's called Unrecord.
It's like a
Yeah.
body cam FPS game.
Yeah,
But the in-game footage looks like it's real, like it looks filmed.
Right.
Interesting.
It from
Oh yeah, I've seen some like clips of that.
Yeah, it's like
it's not
Unreal
out
5.
yet, right?
Oh no.
No, it looks like somebody recorded it and then edited it to look like it was a video game. Like I don't know, like maybe it's my tinfoil hat. I really don't think that shit is 100% authentic. It makes no sense. My brain cannot process that being graphics. That makes no sense.
Oh, I absolutely think so. I mean, I was gonna ask though, like, so you're talking about like obviously people feel like they perceive a bigger sense of accomplishment the harder something is. Well, then why the hell do people pay to win in games?
I know that answer.
Well, yeah, let's hear it.
Because it's fucking fun.
Is that it?
So when we talk about pay to win, what kind of game are we talking about?
We are talking about any game like, let's say, Honkai Star Rail just came out recently. The three of us have played it. And you spend money, and there's a chance for you to get something that will be more powerful than what
Yeah,
you have.
a better unit that free-to-play
Yeah.
players can't
Yeah,
get.
so I think it's because it's the same reason why people cheat to get into med school. Right? Because the reward that you get at the end when I beat something in a particular game or I down this boss, if I could pay to win to beat Millennia, I still get to walk around and say, hey, I beat Millennia.
Yeah, I've got the sword now.
Right? So now what started to happen is we place value on accomplishments within games. And if you suck too much to do them, you just pay to win.
Yeah.
Right? And then there's also like other things about pay to win, which is that I think they're just really good at the way that they design you wanting to purchase things.
They sure are.
Like, because you know, like I remember when I was playing like Genshin Impact, like you've got some 4-star character, and then there's like a 5-star character who's just objectively better.
Yeah, for Genshin, that was a massive problem. For Honkai Star Rail, that's actually not a problem, which is crazy to me. And I think you'll realize that because you have a Zila at E4.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of damage. But there's a Dan Hang who's completely free, and he only does like 10% less damage at E0.
So I'm doing 10% more.
That's true. That's very true.
But
I have played my first Genshin. This is my first Genshin game ever where I'm completely free to play. Hopefully by the time of this is releasing, I'm still free to play. It makes the games, in my opinion, for this one specifically, it is so much more fun. I love it.
I mean, so here's the other thing with free to play.
Yeah.
You still pay with time.
Of course.
right? So there's also
It's free to play. I just have to play 12 hours a day to keep up.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so like I have a buddy who's like a radiologist who would spend I don't know like thousands of dollars on every Hearthstone expansion.
Oh my god.
And he's just like, yeah, sure, I could grind, but like, it's
Do the
just
math.
easier. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the other thing that I don't even think game developers have really realized this yet, but I don't think they really understand. They're still operating off of like an old anchor, which
Right.
is that the price of a video game is based on what my parents are what I have to convince my parents. to pay,
Yep.
Right? And everyone's getting up in arms over $70, but I think at some point a game developer is going to realize like there are people out there who will pay $1,000 a month for a really high quality, or even $5,000 a month for a high quality gaming.
I agree.
Yeah, a lot of them play Genshin Impact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go.
You got the whales, right?
Yeah, I spent. I think the most I spent on one copy of a character. It was actually a weapon. It was called Staff of Homa. I think it was somewhere in the range of $12,000 for one copy of a weapon, and I had to do it 5 times.
Wait, what
You had to do
character's
what
weapon
5
was that?
times?
I had to pull for a weapon called Staff of Homa.
It's a really funny thing that they do in these games where
Yeah.
so usually in the games there's like 2 different things that have like a gambling system. There's the character and there's an empowering device for the character. So the empowering device for the character, am I right about this?
Yep.
Is and all of them, like with the characters, the more duplicates of the characters you get, the more the base like power level of the character increases. And it's the same thing with the weapons too. So it's not enough for you to get the weapon once. There are other functionalities that you unlock by getting it multiple times.
Yeah, this is like that constellations, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I was
There you
like, what is this?
But
Yes.
I have to pull it like 6 times to unlock this.
That's
stuff?
right.
But the big difference is with the character constellations in Genshin, the characters you pull for it once. If you lose, you get it the next time. Okay. When Genshin first came out, that system didn't exist for the weapon banner.
It's called a pity system.
Yeah, they did not have a pity system.
Yeah, so it's like if you miss it 9 times, you'll at least get it the 10th time.
Yeah, but this one didn't
So
have it.
people will just keep
So
pulling.
I pulled for it, and I did this all on stream. I lost the quote-unquote 50-50 22 times, which is astronomical.
Quote unquote.
Yep. And I was
Yeah.
I was losing my and this is all on video too. I was losing my fucking mind. And after the video has over 1 million views now. It was posted all over Bilibili, which is a Chinese website as well that's like YouTube, and their video of it got like 10 million views. And the player base all saw this, got absolutely furious, like sort of like strangling, which was, what was their original name? MiHoYo, now HoYoverse, for like, you need to change this. And 2 weeks after I pulled for Staff of Homa, they changed the entire system, and now they have a pity on the weapon system as well.
Let me give.
So you're responsible for the pity system? Implement it?
People say that, but I don't believe it.
Yeah.
It's a
Wow.
coincidence.
Do you feel like the people that got the staff after you devalued your staff though?
Yes.
There you go.
Yep.
Yep. There
Yep.
it is.
Yours is special.
Like,
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Special.
Yeah,
the
he
worst.
got it the hard way.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, these
Yeah.
kids these days, they'll never understand what it was really like. $12,000 in the hole, 22 missed chances.
I mean, it's hard, but sometimes if your life isn't really going anywhere, the only place you can be elitist is in a video game.
Well, do you think that's like
Oh
a big
my
reason why?
God.
Yeah. You think it's a big reason why a lot of people move over and they like. That's why all of these video games now have like these achievement systems and like leaderboard systems and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. This is what's happening is it's almost like Darwinian, where there's like a whole marketplace and developers are creating different features. And the ones who figure out how to exploit like some new circuit in the brain is the feature that catches on.
Yeah.
Right. So even if you think about like EverQuest, they were like, okay, let's make an RPG and let's add community to it.
Is
Let's-
EverQuest the one where you could drop cows from the sky?
I don't.
Or is that, do you know what I'm talking about?
EverQuest is like the first MMO.
I mean, there's a cow level in Diablo 2.
No, there was some game where you get super jacked and then you could like drop cows from the sky. It was an old game back when I was a kid.
I
Maybe.
have no idea.
Maybe.
No,
it's-
oh, okay, my bad.
It sounds like some kind of bug.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah, it's like a Game Shark cheat code,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, so I think people figure out, okay, like if we add like achievements and stuff, like
Right.
we add completionist stuff, and then I think I played that. What's that? Lost Ark, for example.
Oh God.
And they do a good job of like making the completionist stuff like kind of fun and not repetitive.
I hate, you know, the adventure guides and
Yeah.
adventure journals on Lost Ark? Imagine if you open up your page and everyone says 100%.
Yeah, so
Yes.
they figure out, right?
I enjoyed that because it was like the best thing about it. Here's one of the things that like sucks about WoW and like a lot of games now is that you never actually have anything that like lasts. Like I think that people like having something that they know that they'll have for a long period of time. And like those Lost Ark adventure journals, that bullshit that I did last year still matters.
Because it gives you like some flat bonus on something, right?
Yeah, it's a flat bonus, exactly. And like you feel like you did something and it's done.
Right. So I mean that's a prime example. So like some developers sitting there and saying, okay, so like we're gonna grind for like tier 1 gear.
Yeah.
And that'll all become obsolete the second that tier 2 drops.
That's exactly right.
And so what Lost Ark figured out is like, hey, we're gonna actually like the time that you put into this grind will never be taken away from you.
Yeah.
And so for people who are like loss averse or are like stingy and we're like we don't want something to be taken away from us, they figured out how to take advantage of that.
Oh, absolutely.
Because all those hours that you spent grinding, not only do they work in Lost Ark, they give you flat bonuses in every game that you play after that.
Yep, exactly. Like every raid you do is going to give you those same bonuses. You need those stat point potions, and you have to do this. And so after you do it, the work is done, and you've like accomplished this thing.
And you get like a stat point potions worth like 5 points, and you have like 2,100 of a particular stat, right?
But like eventually you hit a break point, and then you have the extra point level where you can actually buy the new skill or something. And like I think that's a big thing. But you used an interesting word there, exploit. What do you think the ethics is in a lot of this stuff?
Ethics for what?
Well, I mean, the big thing, right? I mean, is like pay to win games, right? Is this gambling? Like, what do you think?
Is this gambling? So I think that when things
is it harmful gambling? I think that's probably a better question.
Do I think it takes advantage of the same circuits that gambling takes advantage of? Yes.
Okay.
So, but I don't know if so. Like, let's. This is where I mean, I'd love to hear what y'all think too. But let's like take a step back for a second. First of all, I think gambling was a lot more the case when things have real market value, right? So like for a while, like if you look at CS:GO and stuff, I worked with someone who was very successful running one of these CS:GO like gambling sites, and in terms of trying to help them be a better human being.
Of course.
And so, but it's kind of interesting because I think that there's like an argument to be made that when things have real world value, like it gets way closer to gambling.
Oh, it's way worse, I think.
But I think that they absolutely take advantage of the same stuff that people who gamble take advantage of, which is like random reinforcement schedules and not being able to stop and things like that. Yeah, Skinner boxes. So I think I I don't think there's any debate that those psychological mechanisms are at play.
Yeah.
Now, ethics is kind of tricky because ethics is usually profession based. So it's not generally like good or bad. And I don't know what the ethical system of game developers is. I don't know if anyone's developed one. I don't know if anyone will. But I mean, I think that's a huge problem.
I don't think it's very profitable, so probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah, exactly.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Well, if one episode isn't enough, we got even more now. We started the Steak and Eggs official Patreon, patreon.com/steak and eggs. We're going to have tons of stuff on there, as well as behind the scenes footage, bonus content, as well as questions that we are going to answer from you guys directly. So if you guys want to be a part of that and see what there is to offer, take a look at it at patreon.com/steak and eggs.
I mean, you don't really hear about people's lives being ruined by like rolling in Genshin or in gacha games or those types of games that have gambling.
I mean,
you need to listen more.
Yeah, no, it fucked
Does it
me
happen?
up. Yeah, no, I went like $0 in my bank account because of a game called well, I'm not gonna say because I was sponsored by it recently. I lost a lot of money to gacha games. It's bad. I have a serious problem. That's why I'm trying to binge and cleanse myself right now. It's bad.
Binge and cleanse.
Like I'm binging the free to play experience to cleanse myself of being a whale. So I'm playing like 14 hours a day completely for free, rather than playing for 3 hours a day and spending $10,000 every time I log on.
So is it common for people to like spend all their money on? Because I haven't seen much of that compared to like people talking about like slots and like traditional.
I have 5 to 6 friends even right now who have like
Really?
spent everything they have on these games.
I actually didn't know that because I haven't really seen that.
Oh yeah, it's
being
bad.
Talked about.
It's for sure bad. That's why like it's very important like as a content creator, at least whenever I play gacha games, I do treat Honkai Star Rail the exact same as like slot machines. Every single time I play, I'm like, you should not spend. Like, be careful with your money. It's a slippery slope. Like, be careful with your money. And I'm trying very hard to advocate for free to play. Even when I was a whale, I said, I'm doing this because I'm a content creator. You should not do this. This is bad. You will lose. Do not get it twisted. You will not win.
Do you have a sense of what made it hard? I mean, what was going on in your head when you were bankrupting yourself playing gacha games.
Dead ass, I was depressed. And that was the only feeling of dopamine that I would get, is spending money to get cute anime girls that were cute. And I was like, oh my God, I have a Eula now. Now my life problems don't exist. And then I'd turn off the game. It was the same thing you were talking earlier, where like people grind for games because they don't have anything else going on in real life. I never grinded harder in a video game than when I was just like losing in real life. I was like not challenger. I got diamond in League, and I was like smoking like 2 packs a day, like slamming energy drinks. And when I would go from like silver 2 to silver 1, I was like, oh fuck yeah, dude, I'm so sick. I'm killing it in real life. So that hit me deep.
You feel like you're not wasting your time.
Exactly.
Like there is no better feeling than to play video games all day and to go to bed and know you did something.
Yep.
Like it is such a weird feeling, and I felt that way a lot. But the problem was for me is I turned like 27, and that sucked because I was like, man, I've been doing this for like 10 years nonstop. And my friend just got married, and my other friend has a job, and I have I've got this new mount, you know, it's pretty cool. And so it was like kind of a reality check. But yeah, there's tons of people that like they'll spend all of their money. Like I'm talking like 5 figures whenever they don't even really have a job.
You said a quote years ago that really fucked me up, where you were talking about like, let me know if you know what I'm talking about. You're on Facebook, and you see all these middle-aged women, posting about the Minions movie, taking their kids out to the movie theater, and then you realize those middle-aged women were your classmates in high school, bro.
It's a real reality check. I had to lay down after that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Yeah, and well, I think that also like a lot of these games, right? I mean, they do kind of like they're super cheerful, they're really happy, and so I think that they do have like a big appeal to people that are kind of like feeling empty or they don't really have something going for them in real life, and then so they play these games and it makes them feel better. I don't know if that's something that's scientific, but it's certainly a vibe.
So there's all kinds of cool signs. So I saw an interesting study recently that there's people tested different cognitive domains and cognitive flexibility. So it's not like attention or focus or memory. Cognitive flexibility is the only thing that correlates with rank in League of Legends. So the more cognitively flexible you are, the better you like. There's like they've done studies.
So like if you can think in different types of like paradigms.
Yeah. So if you kind of like, so just a simple example, right? So if y'all are not challenger tier, chances are it's because of your teammates, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. Yeah. And
guys suck,
right?
That's what you were
So
saying.
you
Yeah,
just,
of course.
you just get stuck, right? So if I'm playing a game and I lose, it's because my noob jungler or whatever the position is in League of Legends.
Yeah.
Unlucky.
Right. So they didn't gank the lane, and their enemy jungler ganked me, and our jungler didn't do anything. So in that moment, you get locked into this particular idea, right? And like this is the real tragedy if you play games. At least I'm like this now. I didn't used to be.
Yeah.
I used to get better at games. I don't anymore.
No. You don't have
I just
to. Now
get
you
I just get
money.
worse, right? So
Yeah.
like I'll play a game like I've played like probably 1,300 hours of Dota and 1,500 hours, and like my rank just steadily goes down.
Yep.
And most people like who play games like we just kind of suck, and we're not going to get better. And it's because we're not cognitively flexible about why we win or we lose, right? We don't think about it critically. We just queue up again.
Do you think that there's any logic in the fact that kids that are 13 that are playing Fortnite don't have to think about a mortgage, taxes, health insurance, or anything else, and all they have to do is think about building that little house in Fortnite and shooting you? Do you actually think that has any validity? That like a more clear mind, because kids
100%.
Okay, so it's not my fault then.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
great. Yeah, I thought so.
These fucking kids.
I mean,
ruining my
but
video
so
games.
that's the kind of thing where it's like maybe you should be a little bit cognitively flexible there.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, a
You,
little bit.
you ask the question in a way that's going to evoke a particular response, right? And so you're looking for someone to reinforce what you already believe.
Absolutely.
I'm happy to do that.
100%. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Yes.
And the reason that you're losing to kids in Fortnite is because they don't have to play a mortgage.
That's
what it comes down to.
Okay, I knew it. Yeah, I knew it wasn't my fault. Okay, great. Scientifically proven, guys.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I see a lot of the games, and I am the same way. Like, I will play a game, and I will crater on a boss and just dog shit at the boss for like 3 or 4 hours, wake up the next morning, first pull it, it's dead. It's not even a problem.
No, but
that's a process, isn't there? Like,
no, that's legit. So like,
Yeah.
so for example, so like everything that we know about how to study efficiently also works for playing games. So I'll ask y'all a couple questions. Do you do better the first time you fight a boss compared to the second through fifth time?
The first time, every single time.
Yeah.
Every single time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So this is like a common pattern. So this means that there's something like if
It's like a
everyone is
horseshoe.
saying yes, like we do really well. Like you get the boss down to like down to 20% health, and then you wipe.
Mhm.
And the second time you go in, you get like two-shotted, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what happens. So this is like the science of performance and all the stuff around learning. So if you, I did this with Elden Ring. I actually
Yeah.
applied this because I didn't have 4 hours of grind.
Right.
So what I would do is I'd play a boss for like maybe like 20 to 40 minutes, and then I'd take a break. And then what happens, especially when you sleep, is all of your learning that happens in short-term memory actually consolidates into long-term memory. And so even when I was playing Radon and stuff, I would not Radon, it was Radagon.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So what I would do is like I'd play for like half an hour every morning, and then like in 4 or 5 days, I beat it. It was easy.
So
But
like
if you play for 5 hours at a stretch, you're gonna lose.
Okay. All right. So that's like an actual good way of handling it. All right. That is amazing.
But the problem is that people will say that you rage quit if you do that.
Well, that's the thing is like on
cares?
stream because that
I do.
that's
You
my
go.
coping mechanism is like I have to take a break. Like the way that I do it, I've told Emmy about this. This is a story I've told before. Is that I will go and I get mad and I will put like 10 blankets on myself and I will make like a little nest of a nest of blankets and I will lay in the dark and I will calm down. And then I can get back up and play the game. Now, does that work very well with streaming? No, it does not.
Yeah, I think streaming is a whole different ballgame.
It is.
You can't ever take a break.
Exactly.
I genuinely feel that in 3 to 4 years, maybe even shorter, there is going to be a copious list of all the mental illnesses caused by streaming. I genuinely feel that because, like, for me, like when I go live and I can talk to thousands of people at the same time, you know, I can get that dopamine. I'm like chat type 1, like screams down the chat arena. Like now, when I talk to normal people one-on-one, I don't get the same hit, and I'm just like I find talking to real people for the majority of people, not streamers. Talking to other streamers is fine. But talking to real people is so fucking boring for me.
What are they, NPCs?
Exactly.
Oh my god.
It's bad,
I
bro.
don't know if that's a streaming problem. Or
It's
something
got-
that existed before.
No, it wasn't like that before. It was not like that. When I started streaming, like there was so much dopamine in talking to my chat. Like sometimes talking to my chat is my favorite person to talk to. I see them as an entity.
Oh my god, Tectone.
It's bad.
Well, it is. It
It's
is. I
bad.
mean, chat is an amalgamation of like 10,000 people, and you get to see the funniest things, right?
Yeah, all the time.
So how can one normal person compete against the hive mind that is chat?
They can't.
Well, it's the other side of that though is like sometimes you there's 10,000 people and it's like that one dude that says like, you know what, man, I think you kind of fell off. And it's like that's the one that people focus on. And it's like I can always tell whenever somebody's in a bad spot if they're sitting there talking about it, you know? It's bad.
Yeah, I mean, so that also like our brain filters out. So it's kind of interesting because if you talk to streamers, I don't know if y'all have seen this, but this is basically what Asmon just said. You know, chat is scrolling past faster than you can read it.
Yeah.
But if someone says something negative about you, your brain literally like floats that to the surface
Son
of
of
your
a bitch.
consciousness.
Yep.
Right? So it's really interesting. And I think this is why streamers like it's a very burnout is super high because you can get like 99 people who like what you do, but all it takes is one vocal person to really like wear on you.
Right.
Human beings were not designed for that, right? We like evolved in like these tribal societies of like 300 people where you can't, I mean, people like y'all, I mean, y'all can be hated on by 0.01%, and that's still like 10,000 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And we're just not designed for the hatred of like 10,000 people to be in our brain.
What do you think the long-term effect is of that's going to be? I mean, do we know?
I mean, what is y'all's life like? At this point, I think y'all enter the long term.
Oh man. So I used to be so stressed out all of the time. And it's like if somebody toasts some shit to me, it will still annoy me, right? It's not like I'm not like, oh, I'm above this, right? It will still piss me off. But now I read it. I think that the way that the benchmark that I always used was that do I think about this comment or this statement after I get done reading it? You know, like do I think about it after the stream or whatever? And for a long time, the answer to that was yes. Probably in the last like year or so, probably no. but it took a long time for me to get there, and I would not even say I'm close to the destination. You know, it's just a little bit better.
What about y'all?
I've gotten pretty good at like I'll see a comment and be like, that's just one guy who doesn't like me, and then I won't think about it. But I've also how long have you been streaming?
Since 2016.
I've been streaming since about the same time, 2015, 2016. But I also had a like longer period of like chilling. Yeah, then I blew it fast. But you like have been like this for a long time, right? So I think for me, like being at the lower range for a long time helped me like prepare for like when it was bigger, because I had like seen hate comments and stuff, but it was at a much smaller scale. I'd already accepted like that's just how it is. So then now when it's on a larger scale, I'm already used to like thinking in that way. So I think maybe for me that's why. Like there are times where it bothers me. I'm not like invincible, but I would say most of the time like stuff like that's just kind of like whatever.
Yeah, for me like whenever like it kind of was like that, it went up, and then like I went from getting like 8K viewers to getting like 30K, and I would sometimes like peak at like 40K viewers like within like a month or two, right? Like it was that big of a change, and I was like, bro, like, because easy come, easy go, right? And I think that's what a lot of streamers and people worry about is like, you know, how long is it going to last? Like, it's like this now, but what if it's not like this tomorrow? You know, there's just so much uncertainty.
I think every streamer's like that.
Oh,
Yeah, for me, I was a 1 to 2K streamer for 6 or 7 years. Then went from, like 2K like to 10 to 20. And that was a lot, but what stressed me out more wasn't like the comments. It was like always like worrying that I was like gonna let people down, because like people were like, oh, I see so much potential for her, and that was what stressed me out the most, not like the hate comments.
Yeah.
But I know like you with like what really bothers you is when people say things about you that just straight up aren't true. But I think that's true for everybody.
Yeah, like being called like cringe and annoying. I'm like, okay, lol. Okay, if people says, yeah, Tectone blew up my house, that's why I'll never watch his channel. But like, obviously, shit not like that, but similar to it. Just
people will post. I'm not even kidding you. Like Tectone and I are a lot the same, where we're loud, obnoxious assholes, and because of that, we rub a lot of people the wrong way. That's just what happens sometimes, at least, right? And at least like it's the way that you communicate, right? And in doing that, you get a lot of people that will just like really viscerally dislike you. And I have had people writing paragraph after paragraph of why he is the worst person in the world.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, so I mean, the long-term effects, honestly, dude, like we have no idea, right? Because like this is a new thing. We don't know what this is going to do. This is like someone has just invented the cigarette. We have no idea what. I mean, like you.
Well, hopefully it's not like that.
Let's hope.
Hopefully not. I mean, but I think we're starting to see all kinds of problems. So like at this point, we've worked with probably 400 content creators.
Wow.
Across different platforms, and we definitely see everything that y'all are describing. So what we discover is that content creators who survive are the ones who develop some of these interesting principles. So it's interesting to listen to Emmy. She's like developed this idea of like acceptance, right? So you've accepted that this is the way that it's going to be. Zach, you actually set some limits around different things. So you're like, okay, you have awareness of, okay, how do I let this comment bother me? If this comment bothers me after I read it, then I'm aware that this is like some kind of toxicity.
Yeah.
So that level of awareness will help you like protect against it.
Yeah, thinking about thinking.
And then the other thing that we see a lot with content creators that's really, really dangerous is like this idea that the sand in the hourglass is running out.
Oh, yeah.
So you blow up, right? And like it's easy come, easy go. The gravy train's not going to be here forever. So I have to take advantage of it. I have to grind. When I've got 10K concurrence, I have to grind for 14 hours a day.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's literally what I'm doing right now.
And so what happens is like y'all pay the price. I mean, I say y'all because I mean, I'm sort of a content creator, but you know, y'all pay the price in every other dimension of your life.
Sure do.
Yep. I've been grinding. I did 5 12-hour streams into a 15-hour stream yesterday. And the moment I've cut off like an hour and a half to 2 hours of sleep, and the moment I get offline, I'm like, okay, friends, talk to all of them, family, talk to all of them. Like immediately. Like I'm just like, I cannot get absorbed into this, but I also have to fucking grind. And then I'm like, cats, play with them, food, eat it. And Wake Wilder, shout outs to him. He got me on a new diet plan, which has made me feel way better because I used to order all my food, but now I'm getting like pre-packaged meals, and I've lost 6 pounds in a week, which is a lot, but I'm dieting very heavily. But I feel good, and I'm trying not to let it overwhelm me, because my trick to dealing with like the copious amounts of stress and hate comments is just
used to fix our living room on my private room while the moms and brides away. To follow love and follow dad, to alcohol and cigarettes and Mary Jane, to keep me insane, doing someone else's cocaine. And there's nothing wrong with me. This is how I'm supposed to be in a land of make-believe. But don't believe
has come and passed. The innocent can never last. Wake me up when September ends. Like my father's come to pass, 7 years has gone so fast. Wake me up when September ends. Here comes the rain again, falling from the stars, drenched in my pain again, becoming who we are. As my memory rests, but never forgets what I lost. Wake me up when September ends. Summer has come and passed. The innocent can never last. Wake me up when September ends. Ring out the bells again, like we did when spring began. Wake me up when September ends. Here comes the rain again, falling from the stars, drenched in my pain again, becoming who we are. As my memory rests, but never forgets what I lost. Wake me up when September ends. Summer has come and passed. The innocent can never last. Wake me up when September ends. Like my father's come to pass, 20 years has gone so fast. Wake me up when September ends.
I thought that I've been hurt before, but no one's ever left me quite this sore. Your words cut deeper than a knife.
Yeah, I missed my flight. Maybe one time wasn't right. Maybe that time just wasn't mine. Maybe it's time I'm moving.
Yeah, I missed my flight, so I can see you tonight. Yeah, I missed my flight, so I can see you tonight again. Yeah, I missed my flight. I'm coming back tonight. And yeah, I'm coming through and I ain't starting to fight. I wanna see you, babe, 'cause you the number one for me. I don't care what you say, I know you love me. And I'm coming back through with my boy Simply. He's my homie and he's got a fucking giant D. But fuck it, we are not catching that flight. We are staying tonight. Yeah, I missed my flight, so I can see you tonight. Yeah, I missed my flight, so I can see you tonight again. I bet
Target acquired, Warlock.
This is Riker, and lately I've been seeing a lot of controversy and talk between new players and veterans about seasonal resets in Diablo 4. Players new to the genre are saying, man, I don't want to have to grind everything all over again at the start of a season. Veterans are saying, nah, this is the way it's been. This is good. And then all that's getting conflated with the argument against having to grind renown again.
I love how, like, the argument that people have for, like, I think that there's a certain point where, like, yeah, this is how it's always been, and, like, this is what people want. But, like, I don't like whenever people just use the thinking, like, oh, well, it's always been like this, so it always needs to be like this.
In this video, I just want to talk about seasonal resets. I want to talk about why some people are opposed to them. I want to share my story about how I used to be opposed to them and what made me change my mind, and why seasonal resets are a good thing, and why the renown grind might not be so bad, or at least how the devs can make it better. So first off, just to clarify,
I feel like, again, a lot of times whenever somebody expresses something as not so bad, I feel like right there, that tells you a lot.
Seasonal resets. What are we talking
But I'll
about?
listen.
ARPGs in general now, modern ARPGs have seasons. Call them seasons, call them ladders, call them
Diablo
leagues.
3 had it.
There's some term where every few months there's a new patch that comes out with new content, and with that comes a reset. Where if you want to participate in this new content, you got to make a fresh character. Everyone starts from scratch like it's a new game, a new account. Some small things might carry over to some degree, but the spirit of this is that we all start anew. You leave your old character behind. And so for a lot of people unfamiliar with this type of game, the thought is, well, wait a minute. I just spent like 50 hours on this character. You're telling me I can't carry that progress over into the new season? I gotta choose between experiencing new content or not losing out on all my time and effort? I mean, what's the point in even investing into a character if I'm gonna abandon it in 3 months because I gotta make a new one, right? And these
I think that's actually, I mean, all that makes sense, right? Especially if you're a casual player. Like you hear that, oh, okay, well now I have to go and redo all of this again? What the fuck?
These are all very valid concerns and very valid points. Some people play hardcore where if your character dies, you gotta start over. So they have that mentality of, well, I know I can lose all my progress and have to start over. But people who choose not to opt into hardcore, who are going for that softcore experience, that's presumably partially at least because they want to retain their progress. They don't want to feel like their hours were wasted because their character is effectively gone. It can take 80 to 200 hours to grind to level 100 in Diablo 4, depending on how fast or slow you might be and what techniques you're using. It can take months to get a super rare item to drop. So what's the point if you can't keep that progress? Now, when
and you've got to keep in mind that a lot of the people that were talking about how seasonal resets were problematic were the gamer dad 5-hour-a-week players. It's kind of shitty for casuals. There's no reason to play besides the campaign and enjoy the story. It's about burnout. They should have had the seasons ready. I think that still would have happened, right? I mean, regardless, I think a lot of these people just don't like the idea of having to start over. The Diablo 4 should focus more on the new player base or the vets or meet someone in the middle. It obviously should be somewhere in the middle. But I think that Diablo 4 is clearly like positioned in the ARPG market as the more casual alternative, where Last Epoch seems to be in the middle, PoE is the more hardcore alternative, and there's a handful of other niche ones like Grim Dawn.
season started in Diablo 3, that's exactly how I felt. I've invested so much time, so many months into building up my characters. Why would I just let that go? When the first season rolled out for Diablo 3, there wasn't even really new content back then. That's something that developed more over time and mostly from other games where new seasons became an opportunity to add new content into the game beyond just new unique items and new sets. Other games now have introduced the ability to have new game mechanics, new quests, more exciting, new and fresh content. But back then, we didn't even have any of that. It was just, okay, there's a couple new items you can find, but there's also a cosmetic reward. So I said, all right, well, I'm just going to play the new season just to get that cosmetic reward, and then I'm going right back to non-season. I'm going to keep playing my characters that I've invested all this time into. So I played my first season, and I literally never went back to playing non-season. I kept playing Diablo 3 for years without any significant break. And I would play at the start of every new season, and I would only ever play season from there on out. And it's something that just, against all logic...
Yeah, I was the same way. Like, originally, because I'm definitely the same kind of person that, like, I want to be able to work towards something on my character, and I don't like having my shit get reset. But I also just only play seasonal servers.
And reason just experiencing it is what's going to make you a believer. It was just so fun to play a new season. And let's hit up on some points as to why that is. First off, it's just a fresh new experience. It's almost like playing the game again for the first time. That new game experience, that new game smell.
I mean, I feel like for some people it's probably not like that, but yeah, especially if you've taken a break, coming back. And I think there's also like the big factor for me is the fact that like everybody is playing it again, right? It's fresh reset, everybody's back on, everybody's starting over. And it's like the camaraderie of everyone playing the game again. I think that's the cool thing.
Isn't that always the most fun you have in a game? You can hardly ever recapture the magic of your first couple days, maybe even weeks with a new game. And seasons, a fresh start, somewhat are able to give us some Xerox of that experience. Sorry for the Zoomers, some artifact JPEG of that experience. And this is even more true now that in Diablo 4, every season will bring in appreciable new content to experience. So playing in a new season will not feel exactly the same as when you first played Diablo 4, because things will be different in the game. New character builds.
And I think that's why I lost interest in Diablo 3 seasons, is that I felt like every season was basically the same thing. That's why also with PoE, I usually don't play every single league in PoE. I will play like every other league, or like every 3 leagues, or something like that.
Possible now. New strategies for leveling up your characters might be possible now. And these are things that if you just take your existing level 90 character and respec, you don't get to experience it or appreciate it in the same way. Diablo's a game about the journey, not the destination. It doesn't start at level 100. And that journey is going to be changed by the new season. Another good reason for a fresh season is just...
hopefully, right? I mean, the problem with some games and like the Diablo 3 seasons is I felt like they would just, like, the only difference is I'm using a new spell and I'm playing a different build. Like, there's nothing really that much different for me.
Fair competition. How could new players ever jump into the game and be on par with the veterans if the veterans keep their characters that they've had for years and years? It's just impossible to catch up. A fresh season, everyone zeroes out. Fair competition. If you started playing the game 3 months after your friends, how could you ever catch up to them? At least, bam, you zero out every 3 months. You're all on an equal footing. It's not even about competition. It's about having fun with each other. You don't want to feel like the little brother being handheld through a dungeon. Now you all get to start fresh. And if you are competitive, well, now this is your time to prove yourself. All of a sudden, the competition isn't who's been playing the longest, who's had more time in rank. It's who has the best strategy, the best techniques, the best builds. And if you're not competitive with other people, like I'm not competitive with other people, but I'm competitive with myself, every season, I just want to do better than I did last time. I want to level more efficiently. I want to push further. I want to make a better build.
Every league, my plan in PoE is to hit level 100. And that plan gradually diminishes the closer I get to level 95. And about like 95, 96, it's like, ooh.
I remember the mistakes that I made in the past and I don't want to repeat them. But probably the most significant factor of why we need these resets is the game just gets stale. Action RPGs just aren't designed for you to stay at level 100.
And that's one thing that people might not understand because the game still feels new to them, is that what happens a lot is the game does start to feel stale. It does start to get boring. And the same problems that people are running into at level 80 right now, casuals are going to run into those same problems in a few weeks, a few months. That's what's going to happen to them too.
100 for eternity and just keep farming the same items. Getting that reset every few months helps keep things fresh. And I know some people are arguing, well, the ARPGs should evolve. They shouldn't continue to be made that way. People point to the MMO model where you keep your high level character, new content comes.
WoW, I mean, that's one of the things that kind of burned me out with WoW. Like the new like retail WoW strategy actually is the seasonal approach, because now like every time that like you're playing the game, it's all about it's all about the new season. You're playing the new season. Oh, this is season 3 of Dragonflight, or season 2 or whatever, or season 5 of Shadowlands. And I feel like every time my shit gets reset, but I play MMOs for a different reason than I play an ARPG. It's a different type of game.
Out, you experience it, but an ARPG is not an MMO. That's why I like ARPGs and I don't like MMOs, because it's much more about the journey. It's about the leveling up. It's about the finding gear, and you can't really keep adding on to that with expansions or with seasons every 3 months without literally raising the level cap every 3 months. And then something that's become a very important part of the seasonal reset is the community aspect of it. Every 3 months, we have this big, exciting event that we all jump online and slam the servers for. An ARPG's life cycle goes through these spikes. The start of every season, everyone is eager to hop on. Maybe midway through a season, a lot of people have dropped off. They got their fix, they got their fill. And
this is just what happens, right? It's like people lose interest, then they come back for new content.
They don't hate the game, but they're just ready to jump in again in the new season. Now again, you can argue, well, you can have that just with a new expansion or a new content drop that doesn't force you to reset. But because of all the things that I've outlined previously, it doesn't hit as hard if it doesn't come with that reset. Now, specifically on the topic
That's
of
why expansions are so exciting for MMOs.
the Renown grind, which a lot of people blasted through. They just sat down, did Renown for, you know, however many hours it takes in one shot, and they hated themselves after, and they never want to grind Renown again.
Yeah, exactly.
And
That's how I
if
feel.
we literally have to do that exactly the same way as we previously did, I can understand why people don't want to do that. Devs are already
Yeah, I if I had to regrind Renown, I've said this like 50 times, I would probably play Season 1 and then just like not play until they have like a new expansion. It's just not worth it.
Trying to change what we are able to retain from the Renown grind that we've already done into the new season. And one thing that, I mean, we'll see when Season 1 is revealed, when the Battle Pass is revealed as well. The free Battle Pass is something to consider as well that we'll discuss right now.
Yeah.
We need to see what the devs actually have planned. Hopefully they do have something planned in this regard, but if they don't, then there's an opportunity here to have every season somehow alter the Renown grind if the Renown grind will remain a part of the game.
But why? Why are we trying to force this? Like, why? What